Alright, today let's go ahead and continue to talk about stuff we are seeing on the charts. It is Saturday though, so of course going into weekends, a lot of low volatility, not too much to say as far as price action goes on Bitcoin from yesterday. So today's going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I did want to touch on some stuff that I was requested to cover that I do think is actually pretty important, and we'll get into that in just a second. That's going to be the USDT dominance. But first, let's quickly go through the Bitcoin chart, especially on the local term time frame. Let's see what has changed from yesterday. But essentially, if you're worried that the retracement is over and we're going to fall down right now, that's very unlikely because we still have not swept the high. So I would go ahead, put in a little bit of a sweep level here. We got single prints above us, so we still just have to see how price reaction we do come up here. It's almost a guarantee we're going to squeeze through $60,000. Let's see if that is a proper acceptance back up into this range, or if it is going to be a swing failure where we get back within the lower end range and actually fail some of these levels. So this is the big level to watch up here at $60,000. I'm not saying if we swing fail this and come back within that it's game over. No, it's actually very likely to happen, especially if we're creating a weakened range right here. Sweep it to the upside, sweep it to the downside, and then come back up and hunt up higher because we still have poor highs higher up as well. So we got all these that are probably going to get taken out, and then we have this right here that is also probably going to get taken out. I like my poor highs, poor lows. All of these are going to be creating liquidity up above here, so probably going to grab this at some point, and that will be a big level to watch as well. Let's see if price does come up here. Is it going to swing fail, come back down, or are we actually going to accept back up into the macro range that we talked about in yesterday's video up here? So still the same stuff from yesterday's video, just wanted to touch on it once again on the shorter term time frame here. You can see value area high still below us. We kind of tested it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go grab that one more time, something like that. Really not too much to say here. It's the weekend. Price action is going to be very unpredictable right now. But what I want to do is cover the USDT dominance because I was requested to cover this by a couple of people, and what I'm seeing here is actually very bullish for Bitcoin, and that is the fact that we are looking bearish on this chart. And historically, when Bitcoin dominance does get bearish, it does signal big rallies. This is October 2023. We have this big downturn in the USDT dominance, showing that money is being moved from stablecoins into crypto, which is obviously really good. We have now retraced back up. Throughout this retracement here, Bitcoin has been obviously trading sideways, and altcoins, a lot of them have absolutely tanked. So clearly USDT dominance going up is not a great thing for the markets. So let's see if this can roll over, and what you can see right now that I'm drawing out is just a big support resistance flip that we do have here on the charts. Pretty arbitrary box, but definitely respected very well within here. So I think the fact that we have gotten back up to this level does signal probably are going to go ahead and reject this here, and I do fully expect with this downturn in the USDT dominance, that's going to be another signal once again for Bitcoin racing on up to all-time highs and for a potential altcoin season to take place. You guys probably know I am still bullish on the charts while everyone else has flipped into bears, and that's because I'm just seeing a lot of stuff that looks bullish, like such as the Bitcoin price on the higher term time frames. We talked about this on the weekly, how like this volume profile was respected very well. This is a macro visible range volume profile. This volume node extends out to kind of these blue lines in here, and we have now wicked through that and closed both weeklies up above. I mean, we still have 1 day left to close this week, but I do expect, we're going to be closing 2 weeks above this volume node right here, which is awesome to see on the chart. I think an acceptance above that instead of the rejection, right? If we had rejected that, that'd be a little worrying, but the fact that we have back tested that into support is probably going to signal, once again, we're going to hunt this liquidity up here at all-time highs. So I like that we're seeing that, and not only do we have volume confluence, but if we go ahead and jump over to Bitstamp here and look on a fractal basis, let me remove all these indicators, and we'll go to the weekly time frame here. Actually, no, we'll go to the daily time frame. You can see the structure we're forming here on Bitcoin is this descending channel right within here. I'm just drawing these lines pretty quick, but you get the idea. Descending channel here on price with a big capitulation wick through this channel, right? We go back to 2020 when we had the start of our last bull run. We do see a very similar thing happen here. We have the bear market rally in 2019, and we make this big descending channel that has a pretty big sweep to the downside. Obviously, this is COVID fears. This time we had recession fears, so very similar catalyst for fears in there. People were panicking because I think the world is over. And then we go ahead, slowly chart trading back up, get above mid-channel trend, hunt all the way back up to these highs, flip this into support, and then this is where your epic bull run does begin and Bitcoin does multiple X's into this like super cycle. Do I think it's going to play out just like this again? I'm not going to rule it out of the equation. I do think it's not quite going to happen like this, but I actually think it's going to be very similar to this price action here minus the epic rally. So pretend these wicks get swept. So let's just assume these highs back in March for Bitcoin right now come in like right here. So what I would expect is we come out, break this wedge, right? People are getting really bullish, backtest to the wedge. We break out to the upside and we sweep these highs. So we go ahead and do a swing failure of these previous highs and get back within, and then we reject. And everyone's going to be saying, okay, this is the time where everything's going to shoot up and we're going to go on this super cycle. Bitcoin's going to $500,000. When in reality, this is where I think it could deviate that 2021 cycle. And we actually do enter the bear market here. This is kind of my base case, is that it's going to start fractaling this kind of pattern very nicely, but it's going to have an actual deviation here and acceptance back within the range and fail this instead of backtesting and going on to this massive rally. So we'll obviously let the charts tell us, like, this is very hypothetical. I'm just coming up with ideas, right? There's nothing to say that is going to play out at all, but it does make a lot of sense to me. You know, on a liquidity basis, we've been talking about how it would make a lot of sense to come up here, do a fake back test of the highs, bit of a deviation play, and then that's where you actually do enter the bear market, sweeping these highs within here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on the charts. But overall, I do think that's more bullish nonetheless, because another all-time high on Bitcoin is going to be epic for your altcoins and risk-on assets. You're going to see a lot of euphoria resume back into the markets. So I'm not a super moon boy. I don't necessarily think this is just going to fail. Someone commented, there's this big wick down here. Could this get grabbed? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 52K would be the next level, right? If we went ahead and backtested 52K, that's still pretty bullish correction. That's nothing too worrying. I wouldn't really want to see this low get taken out, though, and I think if we got to 52K, there would be a good chance we actually take the low. I think structurally speaking, I want to just kind of hold where we are in Bitcoin right now. I don't want to see us going lower. I don't want to see this, weekly volume node get broken. That is right here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking on the charts. The low is in my opinion, and I think we're going to start heading to the all-time highs. And let's just stay cautious in the market when we do get up to those all-time highs. Assuming that does happen, we got to make sure we're staying vigilant. If we see meme coins going to tens of billions, if we see news headlines, all your sentiment indicators that all the bears have capitulated to bulls and everyone's buying the top, then just be careful, because that might be where the top actually does come in, and we might deviate that 2020 fractal at that point. But only time will tell. I will continue to take it day by day here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on my opinions. And if you do have any questions about anything I talked about, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. That's a VIP Discord. Wanted to mention it because it is 50% off right now. That is limited time through the month of August, so go ahead, check it out. If you do leveraged trade, only for leveraged trading, by the way. And if you don't leverage trade, don't do it, because it's very stressful and you can lose a lot of money. But that's why I am trying to provide as much value as possible, so you guys don't have to lose a ton of money. And then there's also a bunch more links down there, such as exchange partners that also have limited time events and rewards. If you sign up using my referral link down below, you can go ahead and enter those exclusive events. So definitely don't miss out on that. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.